starting on 128. In the middle of the page. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. So, you will notice that I am sitting on a different spot today, and that we have a different person with us today, and that things are a little different this Shabbat, which makes a lot of sense because, are you doing okay over there, Dan? Yes, we can also move this. Let me help you. Okay, great. Okay, good. Yes, we can. Okay, I see you. I know. So the reason I changed my spot, which is where I wanted to head with this eventually, was we're now in July. It's the first month without Amber. And it's the first month in which we start to have an entire, it's actually not a lot, it's like a handful of musicians who are going to accompany us throughout the year. And we're going to enjoy every single one of them. And so today with us, we have Lori Rosolowski, who is like me from the East Coast, but other than me, different than me, a very, very long-term Bozeman inhabitant at that point. And many of you know her because she's a pianist. She plays classic and jazz. She's also a singer and songwriter and entertainer, and she runs a company for musicians in town. We'll figure it out. Hang in there. Life, hang in there, little tomato. You will understand that joke later. That's just what life is. It's learning how to cope with different misfortunes. So, being in this space together. So we're here for the first time together with just Lori, but actually some of you know Lori from the High Holidays and from other occasions in town, because Lori has been playing and accompanying us for the High Holidays for years already. So she's also a descendant of Eric Fromm, but that's, just for those of you. Herbert Fromm. Herbert Fromm. Yeah. So there's that too, for those of you who get excited about those kinds of things, like I did. So it is Shabbat Balak, and we're here in the space together. We're in high COVID risk, so we asked everyone to mask up. If you do want to sing along, please wear I think all of you wear the high proficiency masks. I spent 2 days in the hospital this week and was tested all the time, so I can assure you 100% that I am negative. Probably better than any quick test would have done this for me. So you can, rest assured about that. Yeah, I'm back. They don't let you go if you're not okay. So I just had, as I said, hang on, little tomato. Yes, so please sing along behind your mask. Wear the professional masks if you do want to sing along. If you just want to sit here and shuckle back and forth, you can wear the simple masks. And what I also wanted to say about this Shabbat is it's Shabbat Balak. It's a very interesting Torah portion. Every bar mitzvah kid is very happy when they get them. And every rabbi is rolling their eyes to the ceiling because it's about a talking donkey. It's really hard to stay serious if you read the story of a talking donkey. And I will tell you more about that talking donkey in just a minute. But what I wanted to make you aware of is that this Torah portion is a time where you kind of really have to ask yourself, what do you believe in? And I know we all believe in science, right? but starting from there's still a lot of open space, turns out. There are people who do believe in signs or in inner voices. There are people who don't believe in any of this. There are people who started out as not believing in any of this, and then things happen to them at various points in their lives. It might be when someone is dying. It might be in a space where, they were least hoping for something and then it suddenly happened and they had a strange sense of gratitude, not justifiable by their sense of science. So if you start from I believe in science, which I think most of us will agree on, and then you go into, and what else might be out there that I also do believe in, then maybe we're in a good place to start into this Shabbat, which is Shabbat Balak, a Shabbat of little miracles, and sometimes big ones. So I asked her, and she agreed. Lori, would you light with us the Shabbat candles? And we'll do that together. And thank you for becoming a part of this small circle. And for all the ones on the screen, I know that the action is going to be very right for you, right-centered this week, but we apologize. We'll adjust the screen this week. Also, when we figure out how to open and close the door again. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. And we gather the light and cover our eyes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
We shouldn't do this. No, that's obviously not your fault. it's the breeze. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And we read together on page 126, a reading that begins with, I begin with. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. So, the story of Balak is the story of one of the kings who lived in the land of Israel, who suddenly saw his country, his kingdom, flooded with people he did not invite himself. And he said, "Who are they?" And he was told that those were the Israelites. They had come from Egypt. And the way he described them was, there is a people and they cover the earth. You can't see the soil anymore. It's not just a little wave of refugees. They have outnumbered my people. So he did not go to war. Instead, he reached out to a foreign prophet by the name of Bilam. And he sent all his personal magicians and courtiers there and said, "Bring me this guy, because he seems to be the most powerful, and he will come and curse this people so that they will go away. Go away already." The people arrived at Bilam's house and said, "The king sent us. You have to come." But Bilam had had a dream the night before, and he said to them, "Can't come. I'm not supposed to curse this people. I can't curse what is supposed to be blessed. Go home." So they came back to the king, and he said, "Well, probably didn't give you enough money." So he sent them back, and they were told to tell them explicitly that he will not regret coming with them. He will really, really be rewarded richly. He had another dream before they arrived, and God said, "You know what? Go with them. Go with them. Let me teach them a lesson." So he agreed. Everybody was happy. They went on their way. They went in two different ways, so to speak. They went first, and then he came on his donkey with only 2 servants. The rabbis make a big deal out of these 2 servants, but let's leave it at that point. So they were on their way through a rocky area, and the donkey started to act strangely, wouldn't move, clenched herself toward the side of the road in a way that she almost smushed her master's leg. And then in the end just laid down and refused to walk at all. She'd never done anything like this before. And Bilam, under a certain amount of stress, did what any reasonable person would do, and he beat the heck out of her. And then she opened her mouth and said, "Why are you doing this?" And he said, why are you asking?" As if that was nothing. And she says, "I've never done anything like this before. Don't you think I have my reasons?" And when she said that, his eyes opened, and he saw that in the middle of the road stood an angel of God with a burning sword in his right, preventing the donkey from walking the way. It was quite a humbling experience. The rabbis tell us the donkey died because of this experience. They also told that it was a sign to Balaam not to lose sight. Even though God had sent him on his way, he was not supposed to curse. And he sure didn't. The king Balak would put him on 3 different spots to watch over the entire people of Israel 3 different times. And every time he opened his mouth, and it doesn't matter how many animals were slaughtered and sacrificed before that, he would open his mouth and inevitably he would say, "Amazing. May you all be blessed. You will go forth, cover the land, bathe in riches, multiply. Only blessings will rain upon you." And the king said in the end, "Are you crazy? What am I paying you for?" And he received just the same answer that his messengers had received at the very first time. I can't curse what is supposed to be blessed. Some things, they're just supposed to be this way. Hang in there. Hang in there. So I've told you the story a little differently than it's written in the Bible, because I switched perspective just a tiny bit to the perspective of that foreign king who really had no idea what was happening to him. He didn't hear about the Exodus. He had no idea who these people were. They were gone. They had been gone for 400 years. He was just there, witnessing history, marking something that was unstoppable. So that topic is going to accompany us for a little bit. I wanted to ask you, before we take some time to dive into the section of the service that we call Kabbalat Shabbat, welcoming Shabbat, making space for whatever this Shabbat brings, make space for these questions. When did you hear a voice that you only heard in your heart? It wasn't audible to anyone else, but you heard it really clearly. And if you can go back to that point where you hear something just inside you, who was it that spoke? Or in whose company did you hear something? Was it when you were outside? Was it when you were inside? Maybe your dog said something, right? It might be sometimes surprising, but maybe go back to one of those places. Maybe it was the ocean, something, that just seemed to talk to you in a different way. We are on page 136 with Psalm 29. Actually, no. We're on page what are we talking about? 136. 136 with Psalm 136. You should just, I'm your rabbi. As Sharon Thold said, the rabbis always gives the wrong numbers. Yes. So that's me. It's Psalm 29 on page 136, and then afterwards we go straight into Lecha Dodi and then into Psalm 92.
Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim. Havu l'Adonai avon va'oz yainai. Havu l'Adonai kevod shemo ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim Adonai al maim rabim kol Adonai ba'koach yainai kol Adonai behadar kol Adonai shover harazim וישבח אדוני את עזי הלבנון ויקידם כמו עגל לבנון וסיריון כמו ונעמים יין עיני כל אדוני חוצב לעבוד אש כל אדוני יחיל אדוני מדבר קדש כל אדוני יכולי איילות ויחשוף יערות ובכלו כולו מרכבו ני 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 כל אדוני למבול ישב אדוני מלך לעולם אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום יין ני 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 יין ני 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 יין ני 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 יין ני 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 138 we're singing 1, 5 and 9 לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה שמו וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצוהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. And today the bride of Shabbat looks like Richard. טוב להודות לאדוני טוב להודות לאדוני
So, we are going to ask a little different set of questions. When I say the word miracle, most of us think about big things. So let's think for a moment about big things, because it's true that in life sometimes big things are happening. Most of our lives are not steadily dribbling little streams, perfectly predictable. I don't know, I would guess that most of us 20 years ago had no idea that they would sit today in this room, in this combination of people, right? Things have happened. Lots of things. So I want to ask you, how do you think about those moments? It might have been a moment where you lost a job, or you got a job, or a relationship broke, or a new one began, or you got a diagnosis, or you didn't get a diagnosis, or you purchased a home, or not, or you lost someone. All those moments, how do you call them in your head? Do you say this is a miracle? Is it something that was God sent? Or is it destiny? It just had to happen because you were supposed to be the person you are today in this room? Is this an accident? You know, just a random thing that happened, that turned your life upside down and eventually maybe also changed part of your personality. Maybe for the better, hopefully for the better. Is this karma? Do things happen to you because you deserve them? Or are they somewhat just there and you happen to be there at the right moment or the wrong moment? What is all this? If you think about those strange turning moments where other people, or maybe you, would say, and then God came. Let's read together on page 147. There's a reading that starts with, "There is one." And it is accompanying the section of the service that is called the Shema and its blessing, which is all about us looking inward, thinking about how we think about things. There is one who sings the song of his own life, finding everything within himself. There is one who leaves the circle of herself and sings the song of her people. There is one whose voice rings with the song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection. And there is one who rises even higher, uniting with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song. Nevarech, let us bless. And if you are able to, then please rise and join me for the Baruch Hu on page 146. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Please be seated on page 148, the first blessing of the Shema. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, O God, ruler of the universe,
who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the times and changes the seasons, and arranges the star in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night, distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. 150, Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvah, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, v'shofbeinu v'kumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. 154. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בהן עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. So, one last thought about miracles. There's also going to be a sermon. I might have a little overdone it today, but it's okay. At the beginning of each morning service, that is the daily morning service, the one that some of us pray every day and others don't, and that's fine too. There's a section on 2 pages in your books. It's 36 to 40, actually. 36 to 40. They're called, you can see at the top of the page, Nisim B'chol Yom, for daily miracles. Daily miracles. I can tell you that that's not the most traditional title for the section. Usually they're just called Birchot HaShachar, blessings for the morning. So, but the authors of this book gave it this really beautiful title, Daily Miracles. Because what are they? Maybe we should read some of them. Does anyone want to volunteer? Just for one of these. There are plenty of these. You don't have to. It's okay. So, but let's just see what it says. Pray to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who stretches the earth over the waters. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who strengthens our steps. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who clothed us the naked. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who gives strength to the weary. Praise to you, Adonai our God, who removes sleep from the eyes and slumber from the eyelids. It shouldn't come as a surprise to you, right? We will go through the entire motions of like, who makes our bodies strong, who gives us clothes, who gives us food, who lets us walk, who lets us get up. And then we end on 3 very mysterious blessings of who crowns us with crowns and girdles us with strength, and also who gives the male chicken the foresight to make noise at the right point of the day to wake us up. So, so we have those. I know. I feel like the only word I know is not synagogue appropriate. There must be a different one. But rooster, good. Okay, good. So, we're with this. We're supposed to say this every day. It comes in different orders. This one is actually the older one. And if you look at that very older one, you realize that those were just blessings that people said as they were going. They woke up, they said, "Thank you for opening my eyes." They got dressed, they stood on the ground, it didn't crumble. They realized that they have the strength to get dressed again. They realize that they have clothes. They realize that they have bodies that move. And eventually, if you follow the rabbinic wardrobe, you would put a pair of tefillin on your arms, girdles you with strength. You would put a pair of tefillin on your forehead, crowns us with crowns of glories. And the rooster would make a noise at some point. And here you were, ready for the day. Are those miracles? Are those not miracles? It's hard to say. It all depends on your definition of what is a miracle. Just a small exercise, because we're going to talk more about miracles in just a second. When you imagine that moment every day of waking up, it might not be a moment at all when you think about miracles. It might be a moment where you wake up to pain. Or it might be a moment where you wake up to an endless to-do list. Some of us enjoy this. We're like, yay, I have things to do. Others are like, oh no, I have things to do. But just thinking about this moment of the day, this very moment where no one has said anything to you yet, you haven't even had a clear thought. What's the emotion with which you usually wake up? And if you were to find anything miraculous about that, what would it be?
If you want to, you can say it out loud, but it's just an invitation. Yeah, something new could happen any day. Right. And with this feeling that something new could happen any day, we're finishing the Shema and its blessing, the moment of introspection in our service, with a song that is all about stepping outside, singing a song, praising the day on 158, Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele.
I started too slowly. Do you want to sing a little quicker? Play a little quicker, but it was my fault. Okay.
Adonai Yaakov galo miyad chazak mimenu baruch ata Adonai gal Yisrael.
So, the moment has come where I'm actually going to say what I wanted to say and not only ask you questions. So, I thought a little bit about miracles and what we commonly understand when we say miracles in English. And then the question always is like, okay, so we have a translation that says miracles and we think we know what the word is, but lo and behold, today I'm going to give you what a friend of mine called a BDB sermon. A BDB sermon. BDB is an abbreviation for the most commonly used English-Hebrew dictionary. And this happens when rabbis go down a rabbit hole and they're thinking, actually, miracles. How many different Hebrew words do I know that all are translated as miracles? I arrived at 6 different words. And I'm not going to torture you with 6 different words, but I am going to torture you with 3. Because they're the broadest categories of what that is, a miracle. Because it turns out, when we say miracle in English, and we actually speak about something Jewish, we might settle for something that's pretty close, but it's not actually what is meant. And this is crucial, because we use the word miracle a lot in Judaism. We use it for the daily miracles that we just spoke about, and we also are pretty loose and quick when we speak about the miracle of Hanukkah, and the miracle of Purim, and the miracle of the Exodus. And many times when someone comes in here for the first time and they say, "Hi, Rabbi, I'm Jewish, I live in this town, I don't believe in any of this, okay? No Exodus for me, no like God from the mountain. I don't believe in miracles." And I'm like, that's fine. right? And you will know in just 5 minutes why this is so fine. So, one of the words that we use most frequently speaking about the Exodus is the word pele. Pele, or in plural, niflaot. For the Hebrew words, nerds here, pele is plaim and nifla is niflaot. But in Hebrew it merged, so we use pele for singular and niflaot for plural. So, we have niflaot. We hear that God did niflaot for us. And everybody's like, great, God made miracles for us. But what is a pele, actually? A pele is something that is separate from the ordinary. It is something that is distinguished, extraordinary, and hard to understand. A pele could be a great many things. A pele is literally something that you didn't expect to happen, and it happened anyways, and you're not really sure what caused it, but you see it happening. For some people, that's a thunderstorm. For people like me, that's my phone. Ha! Right? Or the moment your car gets on. It's like, it happened. You don't understand what happened. You were kind of expecting it, though. But, sometimes when it breaks, you're like, well, it's surprising that it ever actually worked. So anything that is just weird, something that surprises you, something, like two people find each other and you were like, wow, I never thought that those two would find each other. Or you get invited for an interview and you thought, I would have never thought I would end up with this job. Something that is a turn in events. A war is starting. Another war is ending. Something that just happens out of the blue. And you know, like, I didn't see this coming. That's a pele. After 400 years of slavery, people did not see this coming. They thought they would be slaves forever. That's a realistic assumption. And then suddenly this thing happened that they did not expect at all, and they didn't understand why it happened then, or ever, and they're really generally surprised by it. And then started to cope with it in their own ways. So that's a pele. It's a sudden turn of history. And like every turn of history, it's an interpretation of history. So right now, even in this moment, you could ask, what of all the things that are happening in the world is a pele? What could be explained, and what's really, really surprising? And then there's a second category. Oh, and the thing about the pele is that we might not agree on anything. For some people, the pele is right there in front of their eyes. They're surprised by it. Their world changes. If you ask someone, what is the most important global event during your life? Some people will say, oh, it was this. It was 9/11. Or, when Bush won the election. Or anything else, like something suddenly changed. Life-changing. For others, they hardly noticed. They just went on with their lives. We know that this is true for the Exodus too. Some people saw the miracles. Other people just waded through the mud of history and they were like, well, now we have to go there. And also we will have less to eat there. It's an interpretation. But it might be something that if you're able to be amazed by anything, you will be amazed. The next word that I wanted to bring to you after pele is nes. And the plural is nisim. And we sing the song on Chanukah, Al Hanisim ve'al Hapurkan ve'al Haniflaot. Right? So we have nisim and niflaot. And nes is actually even trickier. And nes is something that happened, but it's not a miracle. It's a trial. It's a test. And it's a test that is not happening just privately. It's a test that is made public. It's a certain person or a people who gets tested by God, and if they succeed, God is rewarding them, usually with survival, and maybe a little more. And if they fail, the entire world is watching. Because that word nes is connected to the verb nisa, and that means to trial, to test. Our forefather Abraham is said to have passed 10 tests. The first test when he had to leave his land of origin, his home. The second one when the land of Israel embraced him very warmly with a terrible famine that threatened to kill him. The second one when the Egyptians took his wife Sarah from him. The fourth one when he had to fight in order to settle down in the land of Israel. The fifth one when he had to be with Hagar after he tried for many, many years to have children with Sarah. The sixth one when God asked him to get circumcised at the age of 80. This must have not been pleasant. The seventh when another king took Sarah away from him, repeating the trauma that he had undergone in Egypt. The eighth one when Hagar finally conceived a child, and then God asked him to send this child and Hagar away. The ninth one when Ishmael, his son, stopped being close to him because of what he had done to him and his mother, even though eventually they were allowed to survive. And the 10th one when God asked him to put his own son on the altar. So we don't actually know if Abraham passed all the trials or not. But we know for sure that those trials were public. We know that the Maccabees were tried in a certain way when they were like embarking on a seemingly impossible battle to win. We know that Esther was tried in a certain way to approach the king. So every single time you feel like you're asked to do the impossible, but you're really asked. It's not like one of those moments where people tell you like, yeah, God only gives you what you can carry, move on. But you're really, really thinking, my heart might not survive this. We as a people might not survive this. And you're still asked to push it and move on. That is a nes. So a nes is something that you can watch other people do when they outgrow their limitations. A nes is something that is a signal, a sign, a new standard. Something that is set on a mountain top to be seen from afar. So this might be something that you did yourself, a nes. It might be something that someone else did, that you just happened to be present to. But that's a nes. And it's something that's visible and that you carry with you moving on. And the last word that I wanted to familiarize with is the word ot. It's just 2 letters, Aleph Tav. Very cool word. First letter of the alphabet, last letter of the alphabet. Means a million things. It doesn't even mean just a noun. It means everything. It can be a verb. It means to come, to bring in a very poetic level of Hebrew. It can be a preposition. It means with, close to, in regards to, towards, enmeshed somehow. It can mean a female donkey, which is an interesting thing if you think back to our Torah portion. And it can mean sign, constellation, zodiac sign, a star. It's something that is there in your life, right next to you. Anything that can be a sign or not. And the question is just like, do you pay attention to it? Or do you ignore it? If you choose to ignore it, nothing's going to happen. Unless your donkey sits down and God's messenger shows up with a burning sword. But usually that doesn't happen. So it might be just nothing. Or it might be it, ot, everything. something right there in dialogue with you. So, when someone will ask you, what's a Jewish miracle? And most people will not say, they will just like ask, do you believe in miracles? You might actually be able to say yes. If this person does not mean a huge supernatural, God-inspired event that changed the global happenings of affairs. You might be able to say, yes, I believe in Jewish miracles. If you can say that sometimes a totally surprising new thing changed your life. You can say that you believe in Jewish miracles if you have seen people outgrow themselves, becoming new selves, bigger and more beautiful and wiser than they were before. You can say that you believe in miracles if you ever had the experience that something in your life told you to just keep going and going and going, even if nothing really rationally makes sense. You just decide to follow that little sign. One last thing before I let the musicians speak. There is a section in the book of Jeremiah, the prophet, where God says one thing. וקראתם אותי, והלכתם והתפללתם אליי, ושמעתי עליכם. Whenever you call me, and when you actually come and pray to me, I will hear you. Shabbat Shalom.
So I thought an appropriate song to do today is Hang On Little Tomato by the group Pink Martini. The sun has left and forgotten me. It's dark, I cannot see. Why does the rain pour down? I'm gonna drown in a sea of deep confusion. Somebody told me, I don't know who. Whenever you are sad and blue, if you're feeling all alone and left behind, just take a look inside you and you'll find you gotta hold on through the night. Hang on, things will be alright, even when it's dark and not a bit of sparkling. Sing sunshine from above, spreading rays of sunny love. Just hang on through the vine. Stay on, soon you'll be divine. If you start to cry, look up to the sky. Something's coming up ahead to turn your tears to dew instead. So I hold on to this advice. When change is hard and not so nice, if you listen to your heart the whole night through, your sunny someday will come one day soon to you.
So in classic Reformed speech, this is called a sermon anthem, right? So there are things that keep us going or stopping. Donkeys, tomatoes, we shall learn from all of them. And also, we shall just trust that tradition will catch us and hold us over and over and over again. Page 162, the Shamo.
God holds us, Shabbat holds us, and we hold God and Shabbat and each other too. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת, לנותם ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת וינפש. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם ברית עולם. Maybe you never noticed that little word, ot. Shabbat. Shabbat is an ot, a sign, a little miracle. So when someone asks you, you believe in miracles? You ask back, do you believe in Shabbat? We're starting the silent Amidah on page 164. We'll do it quietly. You may rise if it is your custom and pray it with me. If you're not in the mood at all, you can just stay seated and take the time. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. can finish on your own pace, and because I just noticed this, I'm going to read this to you. Page 181. We reach for you, our God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadows on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. Let us stop the wheels of every day to be aware of Shabbat. Find the stillness of the sanctuary with which the soul cherished. Renew the covenant of an ancient people. We need a quiet space to test the balance of our days, the weight of our own deeds against the heaviness of the world's demands. The balance is precarious. Steady us with faith. Quiet places and stillness where we hear our own best impulses speak. Quiet places and stillness from which we will reach out to each other. We will find strength in silence, and with this strength, we will turn again to your service. Huh? Days pass? Okay. Let's read that too. 171. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk silently among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed. And we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this. Page 180, say Shalom. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not in here. Oh, it's not in here. I forgot to scan it. Okay. Yeah. Ose shalom b'momav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Veimu, Amen. Sorry. Lori, can play everything, but you have to let her know what she's supposed to play. Good. Next time. So, as I said, I had a little bit of a wild week, but I do want to make space here. There are a couple of people on Naomi Sheberach list that I really want to name out loud here. Jane is sick. Jane is Fred's wife. So we're hoping that she's just going to hang in there and that Fred won't get sick too. But I might reach out to the caring committee at some point during the week, because if the caregiver gets sick too,
then they need someone to drop food at their door. So we will do this because it's important for Fred to maintain his routines as much as he can. We're also thinking about our Lisa Miller, who found her way back to Bozeman, but she's grieving and needs a lot of holding, I think, in our hearts and souls. We're thinking about Randy, who lost her brother-in-law and who's really working through this with all of us in the Torah study. And if you have other people you want to just mention by name, bring into the space, I'm okay. You don't need to mention my name. I'm okay. But, people you have in your life who are either sick themselves or it is their task to accompany those who are sick and who just need a little extra, whatever we're sending them when we say Mishiberach. Please say their names out loud. Thank you. 371.
Misheberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach Imoteinu Mekor HaBracha Lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. And for those of you who hold people in your hearts, maybe because they passed away years ago, around this time of the year, the peak of summer, maybe because they passed away during the last 12 months, or just 1 month. Think about the people we lost in this congregation just last month. Yeah. Do you want to add a name, Dan? Yeah, it's that time of the year. Last year we were outside in the park. Please rise as you say the names out loud of the people you remember. Kaddish is on 598. Do you want to say his name? Kevin.
His full name, yeah, Kevin.
Kevin.
Thank you.
Okay, 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי,
בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ברכו. לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. May their memory be for a blessing. And before we share more blessings, let's just give us a moment with angels. Not the ones with the fiery swords, but the ones that accompany us gently, gently, as we walk home into our Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem LaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And as we're huddled here together for the first time in this totally new sound landscape, or so it feels, just take a moment. It's good to be together. It's good to see you again, Dan and Steph. May there never be a Yankee game on Friday nights again. I was massively worried. And it's good to be back in the space. It's good that Suzanne is not on her trip anymore, because that was not a good time. I don't know. And it's beautiful to have you visitors here with us in this space. Thank you for bringing all of them. It's good that Lori is here. And it's good that everybody's there on the screen. I know a couple of people got very excited when they saw your name in the newsletter. There was even a second newsletter going around saying, like, do you know that Lori Rosolovsky, you really should watch tonight. So those people, I don't think were disappointed. And I think it was great that Carly was here, but I think she's not here anymore. Good. But being in the space together in all kinds of ways. Just hold that feeling for a second. Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and protect you. May you walk in God's light and face every day of your life. And may you be surrounded by miracles, whatever that means to you, large and small. So, if you want to help me bringing in the kiddush stuff into the middle,
And then we'll have a kiddush. And if you are not comfortable taking off your mask for that, then that's totally fine. Then just take your piece of challah and take it out of the building, and then you eat it outside. And if you want to drop the mask, just take a sip of wine and eat a morsel of bread. Very humble COVID downplaying a kiddush here. Then we're happy for you to do that too. What's the what?
Well, there's two different colors. There's one
Yes.
white and the other.
The lighter red is the grape juice. The dark red is the wine. It's nice wine. It's not sweet kiddush wine. I'm just putting this out there because I know a lot of people get very worried when they see the thing coming up. Yes. Me too. This is great. Can you put it in the middle? Thank you. I am waiting for my cup to arrive. Thank you.
יום השישי, ויאכלו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצבנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו.
The mitzvah is to hold your wife's hand.
זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
L'chaim to all of you. Lori, no? Oh, okay.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא לחם מן הארץ בתיאבון.
Don't cry. Don't cry, everyone. Oh. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And I'm going to do this awkward thing now. I'm going to reach